Hello and welcome to another video on KurtzPel. I'm Zelp and today we are going to look at the Blazing Blade of Calamity. This is probably the hardest mission in this game right now. It's a 6-player team and you're fighting against Calamity, which is a really huge and terrifying boss. The requirement for actually even doing this mission is a D rank and higher, which means that you have to go to the official probatio, make sure that you get at least a D rank before you can enter, and if you win or if you manage to clear, you might get these things which are pretty cool. And I kind of want to try out the horns, so I'm kind of grinding it. Now the thing about it is that the boss is really hard and it's very hard to see what he's doing, because even if you understand how the boss work, it's really hard for you to see what the boss is going to do, especially with all the AoE coming in and all your friends, because remember it's a 6-man team. Oh, is it night already? Relatively, I'm still really new and I just don't feel confident making in-depth guide for, even though I feel like I know most of the things there is to know about the boss and also most of the things that you can do. I do want to try out with different weapons and other things before I make an in-depth guide of it. So today's video is more of a guide for beginners. So what you can do to help as a beginner, because one of the main reasons why a lot of people fail the mission is because they couldn't kill the boss in time. And a lot of the time, one of the reasons why you couldn't kill the boss in time is because people are dying left and right. So revival takes time. Imagine if one person gets down, another person go and revive, that is 2 men out of the game for, I don't know, a few seconds, and we only have like a few minutes to finish. So it's very draining in terms of DPS whenever that happens. So I'm going to teach you how to survive in this video, and also what you can do as a noob to help out. Now, because I don't have a team where we can go in together and show you how it's done the most efficient way, I'm actually going to join this match with strangers, and it's going to be really hard to get the necessary clips, but then I'm gonna try and find some and also play them back and talk to you guys about it. And I'm gonna play as the noob, so I'm not gonna become a breaker. I'm gonna show you guys how you can contribute damage while staying out of range of damage, things like that. So let's go. So over here we have a video that is pre-recorded, and I feel like this is a really good clip because a lot of the players there are somewhat experienced and you can actually see what they are doing and maybe learn from what they're doing as well. So let's start the video. So I want to point out that the reason why I pre-record and then talk over it instead of doing a commentary thing where I play and explain is because I can pause at any time and explain stuff, which I feel like is really good. So right now I want to explain about the skills that I'm using. I have Black Hole, Blizzard, Mana Ray, and also Meteor. The Black Hole is really good for keeping the boss stationary. The Blizzard has really high range, so you can use it when you are really far away from the boss. And Mana Ray is just a really good DPS in close range that uses mana, because the other DPS that you're probably going to be using most is Flaming Wheel and also the Lightning, and they both consume stamina instead, so you have to learn how to manage that. Now right over here I started with a Black Hole. The reason why is because this particular boss at the first stage, he likes to move around a lot really quickly, and chances are a lot of the breaker actually has trouble catching him at the beginning. So I like to use Black Hole at the start so that the breakers can at least hit him once. Now after that, so someone actually followed up with another Black Hole, that's why he's like staying in the center for so long. After that, I start spamming lightning. You realize there's a lot of lightning going around, so someone else is actually also playing a similar method as I am. There is one guy over there that is AFKing, but if memory serves, he comes back to us. There you go, he's back. And because of the damage he took, he can use his ultimate. And with all the lightning around, we managed to deplete his endurance. So the moment he gets down, what I'll do is I'll rush forward and start spamming Flaming Wheel. If you have a full amount of stamina, you can actually do 2 Flaming Wheel, and I'll follow it up with a Mana Ray. But if I'm not mistaken, what happened there was I start with Mana Ray because I've been spamming lightning all this time. So I roughly know that I don't have enough stamina for any more Flaming Wheels. So just so you guys know, in case you haven't noticed, I'm playing without the UI on. So this means I don't have information of my health, I don't have information of my stamina, my mana. I don't even know when the boss is dead. I just have to look at it visually and tell. The reason why I'm doing this is so that you guys can see it better. Otherwise you'll see names everywhere, you'll see damage popping out everywhere. So this is for your benefit, but because I played this round so many times, I roughly know what I need to do. So it's totally fine on my end. So I start spamming lightning. I realize that the boss is dead. Now I actually have a hammer, so I can cast I can cast heal while waiting for the next boss. The next boss will spawn where the last boss dies. If you're playing the same method as I am, you don't really have to worry that much about this boss because the thing that you need to do is very similar. Stay further away, spam lightning. I actually used Mana Ray there, I don't know why. Initially was actually out of range. So yeah, I was saying, you also want to make sure that you're not facing the boss. So as you're spamming lightning, you want to make sure that you are either behind the boss or maybe like 90 degree, at his side instead. So you don't want to be facing him in front because he has some skills that can travel that range and it's very damaging. So over here, if memory serves, something's gonna happen. There, do you see this large smoke, black smoke coming out? Whenever you see a black smoke, just run as far as you can from the boss. There are 2 conditions if I recall correctly. One is where he's gonna summon clones, another one is where he's going to do what he's gonna do next. It's gonna be a large AoE where the floor kind of lights up. Anyone on the floor is gonna get pushed all the way up and fall down from the sky. Also, it takes a lot of damage. Now, let me just say something over here real quick. See, I can even move back, which is so cool. Okay, so after his attack, which is this one, there's this large circle going around. You can actually use Blizzard and aim as far as you want, so max range. It will hit the boss almost exactly at the spot. This also works with Meteor. So what I did was, because we were so far away, by the time we walked there, he would have gone somewhere else. So, and instead of using lightning, which takes so long to travel all the way there, and it might not even reach, just to do some damage, this is the part where I would spam Blizzard. So I did move in front a little bit and spam Blizzard, and this is the drawback of Blizzard. Blizzard have a huge delay when you're trying to cancel it. So even though I can see the attack coming, there's no way of dodging because I'm channeling my Blizzard. So that is one of the huge drawback in my opinion, especially in PvP when you start Blizzard and you see the guy coming closer to you and you just couldn't get away in time. But anyways, so I have to absorb that damage. He's down on one knee, which means that his endurance is gone. So I did 2 Flaming Wheel followed by Mana Ray. Mana Ray actually gets stronger the longer you hold on it. So it does more and more damage the longer you wait. And that is the end of phase 2. So because I took some damage there, I switched over to my hammer, cast a heal circle, switch back to my my wand. Now welcome to phase 3. Phase 3, there are 3 bosses, but they are relatively weaker than the first 2 phases. So they are easier to knock down, and they're easier to kill. We actually got really lucky here because we managed to sort of like pull them together in one spot and nuke them to death. Okay, over here I want to point out, I want you to pay attention to this particular boss. Just see what happens. So he disappears. When he disappears, he's actually getting ready for the next attack. If you can catch him, roughly know where he is, and you spam an ulti while he's disappeared, you can actually deplete his endurance bar immediately, if I'm not mistaken. You can do this to bosses who have not taken any damage for a certain duration of time as well. So if he's not taking any damage, his guard is not up, I guess you can think of it that way. And then if you immediately use an ultimate on him, he will just suddenly drop on the floor because his endurance is depleted. So see, the moment he reappears, he starts doing attacks, and when he's doing dedicated attacks, he cannot put up his shield, which we will see later as well. So I tried to take advantage, trying to line them up together and then use my flaming wheel to try and hit all of them at the same time. This particular skill I don't really like because I feel like there's no good way of escaping it because it's quite huge. So you're probably gonna take at least 2 ticks from this skill. When it's facing you, you cast on you, and then you want to get away from the ground, that floor, as fast as you can. The reason why I don't like it is because if you have 1 health and he casts that on you, there's no way you can survive. Whereas most of the other skills, basically if you are skillful enough, you can kind of dodge. Now right now he's actually summoning some kind of dark black meteor, but halfway through he died, so the meteor continues coming down. If it hits you, you get knocked back and also take some damage, but that's pretty much it. And welcome to phase 4. This is the last and final phase. The boss has better stats, a lot stronger. He can also fly. Now I want to point out that before he starts flying, someone actually casts a black hole right below him, and this actually kind of prevents him from moving around, and sometimes he will actually land early because of that. So after that, it's just really the same thing over again, spamming lightning. I'm trying to not face the boss. So right now he casts a skill, I don't know all the boss's skills name, but this one is like a circle, a spot that is following you around. The way to get out of it is to do a dash, which is double tap any directional key followed by a tumble if you have to. Okay, so before it explodes, it actually turns bright purple or pink. I think it's purple. And then if it's too close to you, you can do another dodge just to make sure that you don't get hit. Okay, I spam a lightning so that while my stamina is regenerating, I can revive this guy. Okay, I remember this part and I want to point out something. So if you look at the boss, he's lifting up his hand. He's about to make a slam and it's range. I saw it coming and I want to dodge it. The problem is this guy over here. He is using his ultimate, which slows down the boss. So the boss is kind of moving in slow-mo. And that kind of messes up the rhythm because as allies, we are still moving at the same pace. So so instead of dodging away from his attack, since his attack was delayed, I actually end up dodging into his attack. And that was just unfortunate. And this is the only time I died. Okay, I want you to take a look at the boss. So this is when the boss is prepared for a attack. So after he attacked, the other guy used an ultimate and he was prepared, so he put up the shield. and if I'm not mistaken, I think the ulti actually doesn't even decrease his endurance bar even a bit. Like it doesn't go down at all, if I'm not mistaken. So you want to catch the boss off guard. Some people says that when he's doing his AoE skill, you can actually use your ultimate and that will work. Some people say like when he's doing an attack, you can do it as well. So here comes our epic revival. Anytime now. There you go. Okay, so basically rinsing what we need to do, get behind him and do lightning. So there's the spot. Now because he got too close to me, I wasn't comfortable, so I did another dodge just before I explode. You can see players flying here and there because they didn't manage to escape the dot. So when you explode, it also pushes you up into the sky and then you fall back down. And obviously the damage is really high as well. Okay, so I'm spamming lightning. I wanted to resurrect the other one, but he's being taken care of. So when you are at the edge of the circle again, I find myself in this position where I will always tend to use Blizzard. It's just a quick way to do some damage. Okay, now that he's down. So I did the Blizzard, but the guy next to me actually used his Meteor, which is his ult. So right after he used the AoE, he's actually not guarded. You see him down on one knee. That is a great time to use your ultimate if you can, and that will also reduce his endurance. So 2 Flaming Wheel, followed by, where's the mana ray? You'll realize that the boss gets up relatively fast. Oh, here comes the spot. Managed to dodge that, but I ran out of stamina. Okay, reviving this one. Now I pay attention to the background because this guy actually did something pretty cool. So he tried to attack him with a large cleave attack, but maybe because if I was him, I might be able to catch it as well. So he realized it and he uses his ultimate. So immediately, because of his stance right now is not prepared, it drains off all of his endurance and he's down again. Okay, I managed to revive. Straight away we went in and start spamming our Flaming Wheel. And also Mana Ray? There you go. Okay, and that is the end of the last phase. You can even see like my health bar is still relatively okay. So all of them did a really good job. They all seem to know what they're doing. Everyone was spamming damage skills here left and right, so it was relatively fast. Now again, I just want to make a quick summary here. If you are new to this, stay away, stay behind, or maybe if you have to at the side of the boss, spam your lightning. Again, if possible, use a magician because I feel like magicians are generally good against most bosses. So spam lightning. If it's down, go closer, use Mana Ray and also your Flaming Wheel to do more damage. And while you're further away, try to analyze the boss as much as you can. Try to study his moves, know what he's gonna do next after what certain attack cues. The problem is, if you're really new and you decide to go on breaker and you run to the front of the boss, when you're that close to the boss, you can't even see what the boss is doing. So it's really hard for you to learn, and you'll probably die a lot and end up being a burden instead. So yeah, if you're new, do this, do what I just did. And once you're really good at it, then you can start planning about going in for breaking and then switch weapons and blah blah blah. Now I'm actually gonna put another video at the back of this where there is the UI It's a different match. You can watch it and you can see how I dodge or how much damage is being done. But other than that, I feel like the takeaway is pretty much said. So if you feel like you have learned enough, you can actually not watch that video. But if you want to, you can just carry on watching. So with that, I'm gonna end it here and I'll say my goodbyes and see you tomorrow.